10:10 on this Wednesday morning. We have Erin Camfield joining us now from Centerstone. Erin, it's been a few months since I seen you at the tailgate. How's life been treating you?
It has been great. How's life been treating you?
Oh, it's always great, especially when we get to talk with you guys and really just learn more about these great programs and all of the great incentives that are in and around Centerstone and life stories coming right down the pipeline. Another fantastic opportunity for the public and region to come together.
It is. It's just a couple days away.
Wow, that's crazy.
It's a crazy week for me. Long nights, but you know what? I've got my favorite pets in the world that keep me company and help me do event prep late at night. So
this is so cool. Well, and now with that being said, take me through a life story. This is the run and walk for suicide prevention. You can register today at centerstonelifestory.org. Give us the nuts and bolts, if you could, for the folks that haven't followed along. What date is this and how can we be involved?
Okay, so yes, Centerstone's Life Story event, as you mentioned, is a 5K walk run for suicide prevention. We are actually having our third annual event here in Illinois. So we are really excited. This year brings about some changes in Marion, Illinois, where we host an in-person event. We had to move parks because the park that we were running at last year and the year before, we outgrew.
Oh, wow.
So many people have responded to this event and are excited to be a part of this event that we've moved it to Ray Fosse Park in Marion so that we can get people out into the streets and have an actual true 5K. So it's an actual 3.1 miles this year. Also new this year is we have added a satellite event. Centerstone provides services in so many areas, with one area that we have a lot of services being in the Madison County area. So we wanted to make sure that this event had an appearance in the Madison County area as well. So we introduced the satellite event, which is going to be held this Saturday, September 6th at Glazebrook Park in Godfrey. People can come in, they can register up to the start of the event. So they can register online today. They can come in and register at the event in person. The race will kick off at 7 a.m. with the start of showing the ceremony that's happening in Marion via live stream.
Cool.
And then they'll be able to walk or run together on a predetermined route and come back together to finish out watching the ceremony that's happening at Marion via live stream again.
Well, and I think it's so important too that to recognize, and we've had Foster's Light in the Dark on, who they just had their suicide awareness day event over here at Russell Commons Park on the riverfront. But we were talking in that interview, and within the last couple of months from the start of the year, Madison County, having just an influx of 988 phone calls and over 4,000 plus made, and it just shows that there's so many folks here that are affected in some way, shape, or form by whether it's a mental illness or a substance or you name it. They're going through something. And it's really cool that you guys have the satellite location in Madison County that you guys are doing, because there's so many folks that are affected, and your guys' presence and blueprint here reaches so many folks. So I think it's a twofold approach, and I'm glad that you guys are really starting to have this satellite opportunity for folks to come together. And it's great to see that there's so many numbers, but it's also not alarming, but kind of sombering, to realize that this does affect so many lives.
It does. Yes, it doesn't just affect the individual who's having the thoughts or living with the thoughts of suicide. It goes beyond that. It affects the whole family. And I'd like to take a moment to just get a little personal and share that this past December, my son, who's 17, started sharing with us that he was having thoughts of hurting himself, that he thought he was better off dead. And we actually found him with a knife to his throat. And luckily, he's getting help with Centerstone. He's seeking counseling. We did some medication adjustments and everything, and he's doing really well. But I mean, this really affects everyone. My husband and I, we didn't know if we could leave our 17-year-old son at home alone, because if we wanted to go out for an evening, because it depended on what his mood was. And then again, if we did take a chance and go out, we needed to make sure that we were within just a few minutes from our home, or that we had somebody else that was within a few minutes from our home that could be here at the drop of a hat.
Well,
and something else that I'd like to, bring to attention and bring to light to people is, if you can't participate in Life Story by walking or running or coming out that day, please consider making a donation, because, I mean, we have the resources. So I was able to lock up the items. I could make sure that all the weapons and things that he could use to harm himself were locked up. But so many families that Centerstone provides service to have little to no means. And the number one step to preventing suicide is making sure that you have a safe environment. And these lock boxes and other things, they're not cheap.
No.
And for a family who has little to no means, that could determine whether or not a meal is provided to their family. So, a simple $25 donation could save not only an individual's life, but a family from the grief and turmoil that could come from, the loss of a loved one.
1,000% over. And what's the website again that we can donate to that before I follow back up here with a couple more questions?
Yeah. So if they just go to centerstonelifestory.org and click on the Illinois button, the register button, it will take them to our Life Story event. And on there is a donate button, and they can select donate, and all donations will go to providing crisis care and mental health and substance use treatment to clients served here in Illinois.
Well, and Erin, just circling back real quick, and thank you for sharing that story. And I'm glad that your son's doing better. But, I think it's so important for other parents to hear just a little bit of that, because I think so many times if there is a circumstance, we kind of feel like we can't share that with anyone else. We can't tell anybody. And I'm sure that affects parents, mental well-beings and thought processes on it. And I think that that's why this event's so powerful too, to be around individuals that have, experienced this in some way, shape or form. And it could be a very empowering moment, I'm sure, for so many people to realize, hey, we aren't alone. And there's, a lot of us out here that are going through similar circumstances, not the same circumstance, but similar ones.
Yes. I like to think that, Life Story played a part in my son's comfortability to reach out to me and let me know his struggles. They've been participating. My family's been participating in Life Story since year one. They are given the option to either walk, run, or volunteer. And he has selected to run each year. And, Life Story is really about bringing people together to build unity and connectivity between families who have similar situations. But more importantly, it is about breaking the stigma behind mental health, letting people know that they are not alone in having thoughts, or with living with somebody who is having thoughts of hurting themselves, and that it's okay to share the thoughts that you're having and seek help, because there is more to your life. There is more to your story. You are loved. You are wanted. You are needed in this world. So just speaking out and saying, hey, I'm not doing okay, and I need help with somebody right now. It's okay. And you're going to get the help that you need.
1,000% over. And Erin, thank you so much for sharing, like I said, a little bit about that. And going into Saturday, the location in Godfrey, that starts at 7 a.m., correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Registration will open at 6:30 a.m. with the live stream of the event starting around 7 or shortly thereafter. But as long as people that are wanting to participate are there by 7, they won't miss any part of the event. Actually, this year too, our keynote speaker is an Alton native.
I was going to ask you about Charles Mooney. This is cool.
Yes. So we met Charles earlier this year, maybe even last year, because he expressed interest in hosting an art fair there in Alton to benefit Centerstone. And from there, I connected with Charles, and he has shared his story with me. And when he shared his story with me, which I'm not going to get into it, if you want to hear Charles' story, you'll have to attend Life Story. So, but it was so inspiring and so impactful that I just asked him, I said, are you comfortable with sharing your story in a public forum? And will you be the keynote speaker for Life Story? And he did, without any hesitation, he said, absolutely. So we're excited to have him be a part of this year's event.
Well, and Erin, I'm really glad that you filled our audience in on that, because he does have an incredible story, and I'm glad that you guys were able to connect, and I know it's going to be a really powerful experience. And you can register for Centerstone Life Story at centerstonelifestory.org. That's centerstonelifestory.org today. And you can also donate if you can't run or walk that date. I think that's a really important notion. And that brings me to the final portion of our conversation today, and really appreciate your time, because I know that there's a lot of moving parts this week to get things together. Centerstone's foundation, I wanted to talk about real quick, just because I know that was wrapped up, involved in part of this. And take us through, if you could, an overview of the foundation, and then some of the goals behind that.
Sure, yes. So Centerstone's foundation, we're comprised of several individuals that work across all of Centerstone. I'm located here in Illinois, so I work directly with the leadership of Illinois in the Illinois Board of Directors to identify needs of clients and our programs to secure funding. We look for philanthropic funding through the foundation that allows us to have a little bit more freedom outside of grants. That will, allow, if a client needs, something to lock up, something to keep their child safe, or if they need car repairs, or if they are needing temporary housing, the clinicians that work with the clients determine what the client's needs are, and then are able to submit requests through the foundation to help provide funding to provide those needs to those clients. So I like to say that the Centerstone Foundation is here to remove barriers in clients' lives that might have an impact on their journey to mental health wellness.
It's incredible. And honestly, and we're going to link everything in a write-up on RiverBender.com. And honestly brings me back to this last point of my life story. And I think Centerstone's entire mission is so important, because, like you said, life, it doesn't stop and end, on certain circumstances. And I think that when you raise everybody up and you empower folks and you bring them into the same collective space, because no one's going to be able to share those feelings other than the individuals that have gone through something similar, I don't feel like, in this type of circumstance. And before I let you go, Erin, what's your biggest takeaway for Life Story? What's Centerstone's, when it comes to just the overall mission accomplished status of what Life Story on Saturday could be?
What I want to see from Saturday is more people come together. Not because that means that, it's becoming a bigger event, which is always great, but it just shows that this event is reaching those people that are in need of this event, whether it be that they are struggling with losing someone to suicide, or if they are an individual who are living with thoughts of hurting themselves. The word is getting out to them that this event exists, that there's an event that is offering hope, healing, connectivity, unity, and that they're choosing to be a part of it. We have individuals that have been a part of this event since year one. We have people that travel from 3+ hours away from the location to be a part of this event. So, the growth of this event has really spoken to me about the need for an event around suicide prevention awareness. So just making sure that more people are there, and that they are sharing about this event and getting this event into the minds and thoughts of those that they know might benefit from attending this event, because not only is it an event that has a 5K that is bringing together people and individuals with similar stories, but we also offer a health and wellness expo at the Marion location. So we've invited all of the local organizations that provide mental health and overall health and wellness services to come to this event at no charge and just share with the individuals what resources they have available. Because the important thing is that if somebody is at this event and they are having thoughts or have had thoughts or have lost someone, that they're able to connect with an organization that is going to be able to provide them with what they need in their life.
Absolutely. And Erin, it's always great talking to you each and every time. And I know that this event on Saturday is going to go without a hitch. And I hope that our folks in Godfrey can stop by Glazebrook Park and be a part of this as well. And we'll detail everything in a write-up on RiverBender.com. But Erin, once again, as always, thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.
We'll take a quick break and we'll come back with more Daily Show right after this on this Wednesday morning on RiverBender.com.